Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah. I really got the feeling today
Audio Jungle.
that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about.
Audio Jungle.
Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Let's go. Nothing's gonna stop us today.
Audio Jungle.
Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on.
Audio Jungle.
So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Let's go. Let's go.
Audio Jungle.
Let's go.
Yep. Hopefully the sound is better now. If anyone's on the stream, just let me know if you can hear me. Sorry for the late in transmission. Was called into a meeting, which was equally very important concerning something that's about to hit West Africa, which I'm very proud and honored to be part of. So apologies for the late stream. But in today's episode of the Mystify Tech, we're actually working on the Omnipost application. But as a special request, I will be going over some events that happened yesterday. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you what we're going to be working on. Stay here with me. We'll be right back. Okay, thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you. Yes, sound check, we're on. Awesome, awesome. So, yesterday, yesterday was the Global AI Bootcamp all over the world, globally. Hundreds and hundreds of community groups, meetup groups actually held the Global AI Bootcamp. It was awesome. Right here in Ghana, we had three simultaneous events. Big ups to Idris, who also hosted it. Big ups to Abu Konde, who also hosted it. And then big ups to myself and my team at the Accra.net user group. We had a very awesome time at NIT. Um, I want to start first of all by actually appreciating some people that really made this happen. Yesterday's event was really awesome. So in today's stream, what I'll be doing is I'll be going over one of the sessions, which is building an AI model. As fast as faster as you think. One of the things that came up yesterday was a lot of people had heard about AI, and had this, I won't say misconception, but felt that it was far-fetched from them. Felt that AI was this thing that they couldn't, get a grasp on. But yesterday we demystified it. People understood it. People were creating bots. People were creating virtual agents. We started working on building our own AI model in the Microsoft Azure, AI machine learning designer without code. So, in today's episode, I am going to be taking you through that step so you see how you can create an AI model codeless without having to understand any coding. So, first of all, um, I want to show this just to say big ups to the people that supported us in making yesterday's event a success. So first of all, to myself, yes, I was there. I spoke on AI, ML and AI models. Awesome. So thank you, Samuel. Thank you myself for the great job that we did yesterday. Next up, if my slide would just progress because it's on auto. Next up, great thanks to Frank Odum. He's also my co-organizer for the Accra.net user group. He did on cognitive services. Frank, thank you very much. Thank you for your support and love for the community. Really, really appreciated. Then Power Virtual Agent was handled by Yawa Martin. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Yao. This gentleman is an amazing gentleman. He was my lecturer, my teacher, my friend. Now is a partner and co-organizer who helps us to build this community and take it to the next level. Next, we give an awesome shout out to Mr. Emmanuel Asimedi. He actually connected all the way from London, and helped us to understand what it meant to build chatbot. Told us, taught us utterances, intent, and all that. Gave us some ethics around that. Ima, we're very grateful. We know that when we call on you, you'll be there. Unfortunately, Adam couldn't join us, but hey, we're grateful for the thought on coming to help us in the community. Adam, wherever you are, we hope that everything was resolved that day, and hopefully we'll get you back on one of our events so you can actually share your transition from from senior engineer to CTO. Then our superstar for the day was Mr. Charles Wattenberg. Awesome, awesome gentleman. He actually talked about the board framework, but then he showed us how AI was used in everyday activities. AI for everyday use. Charles, you were inspirational. Your talk was, received very well. People understood that AI was everywhere. And these are the partners that really made it happen. These are the people that made it happen. We're grateful to Microsoft, to the .NET Foundation, to Accede, NIT, FN Logic, the Accra.NET user group, and the Accra Power Platform user group. We are very grateful for making our event, a success. Now, before I move on, if you're not a member of our community, please join. Please join. I'm going to go back with this. Join us, Accra.net, Accra.net team, and Accra.net on any of these platforms. And then also, if you're not part of the Power Platform user group, oh my God, you should be, because something crazy is about to happen next year. So you need to be part of this. Well, with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. So today, like I mentioned, I'm going to go over the AI model. So just to give a bit of a context to what happened yesterday, I'll quickly just run through, the slides we use. We actually use the Ignite slide. I'm just quickly going to go over that, and then we're going to switch straight into creating the model in Microsoft Azure. So let me bring this up right here. So yep, and then we will take it from there. So let me know if you can see my, the slides we should be showing any moment from now. Yep, I'm going to put that here and get myself in the corner right there. Awesome. So we borrowed the slides from the Ignite talk, which was one of the requirements from the global AI team. So we use that. So I'm going to be talking about starting to build AI machine learning models faster than you think, codeless. That's what I'm going to do. And if we're there yesterday, yes, yours truly, it's me, Samuel Adranyi. Currently, I'm a senior software engineer at Andela and also a community lead for the Accra.net user group. I'm an MCT and also a lead for the Accra Power Platform user group. So let's just get straight into it. So these are some resources you can use. AKMS AIML30. The session code is on GitHub, and other event session resources you can have. So let's just get into it. So I will try to demystify what machine learning is. I would also uh, try to explain when to use machine learning and how Azure Machine Learning Services can help you do that, and then how to build, a no code using a visual interface. Like I mentioned, we're going to do this real quick. I'm just going to go through this fast enough so I can get to the actual hands-on. This is what I want us to do together. Now, if you want to join me do this coding or to build this, and you don't have an Agile pass. Yesterday we gave out 100, close to 100 passes at the event. But if you're watching me now and you need a pass, an Agile pass to to follow along with this, just send me a message on any of the platforms on YouTube, on Twitch, or on Twitter or Periscope. Just send me your email right now, and I'll send you an Agile pass, and you can follow along or you can do this with me. So let's get rocking. And bear with me from time to time. I'll probably be responding to messages from people. So if you see that I'm actually looking on this side of the screen or something, I'm probably just responding, just responding to people on social media. So again, if you need any pass, just let me know, and then I will make that happen. Okay, awesome. So let's get right into it. So first of all, we explained there's a use case for a company, all right, that was trying to figure out some sales and stuff going on, and it just made sense for them to figure out, would it be prudent to use machine learning to try to predict sales and forecast. So let's see. Okay, let's go here. I'm trying to respond to some things going on right now. So yep, let's see this. If it's awesome. So like I mentioned, um if you are watching me now and you need an Agile pass to go through this session, just let me know. Just send your email to me. I would send you a pass so you can join. All right. So the use case, uh, Tailwind Traders, right? They had two stores, okay, store one and store two, that were working well. Let me just give you the full screen so I'm in the background now. So two stores, and store two technically, was doing well, but then store one had some form of issues. Sales were not going, but pretty much they carry the same materials or same product. So they had wanted to find out how they could use machine learning to do predictions to know, okay, what do we need to stock or how do we need to position ourselves to make this transition in sales and all that. So what happened? They decided to use machine learning. So, with that said, let's understand what machine learning is. There's a lot of fuss between what machine learning is, what AI is, and all these different things running and floating about. So, what is machine learning? What is AI? What is deep learning? Let's get an understanding of that. So, artificial intelligence is a technique that enables computers to mimic human intelligence, which includes what? Machine learning. So, I mentioned that in my session yesterday that artificial intelligence is that whole process or technique of where we are trying to say, okay, we want machines or we want computers, so to speak, to think or mimic human intelligence. All right. So that is the peak at the peak of the hierarchy, and this includes machine learning. So I made an analogy that, well, if you want machines or computers to mimic human intelligence, what you need to do, you need to teach them, right? You need to teach these machines how to do that. And to do that is what machine learning does. So machine learning is technically a subset of AI or artificial intelligence that includes techniques such as what? Deep learning. So look at machine learning as a process where we're trying to train or teach these machines or computers to mimic human intelligence, right? Now, there are different ways you can train a machine or a computer to mimic human behavior, all right? And as part of them is what? The machine learning. And then also, which includes what? Deep learning. Now, deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which is a way to teach computers to mimic human intelligence But this time, this is based on what? Artificial neural networks, all right, that permit machines to train themselves. So we looked at a situation where we had supervised training and unsupervised training. So I'll go through that as well. Now, so quickly, let's take a look at how traditional programming, relates to machine learning. Because someone will say, well, yes, I could build a software or a program that does that. But if you look closely, you realize that with all the computations or the end goal for traditional programming and machine learning is quite different. So let's take a look at this. So for traditional, um, for traditional programming, you have data, all right? You have data, and then you create some form of algorithm. There's a computation happening, and you get an output. Let's see how we map that to machine learning. So for machine learning, you map data, all right, the data which you probably will be sending into your algorithm or module for computation, that becomes what we call features. So features are likened to variables or data points. Awesome. Reggie, just send me your email. I will send you a pass right now. Just send me an email. I'll send you a pass, and then I'll share how to retrieve the pass with you guys, and then we can go to the hands-on session. So just send me an email now, and I'll do that. So features are like variables you pass into modules or into your program, okay, as compared to traditional programming modules. And then the output. Now, you see how this is a bit confusing. You're like, hold on, hold on, hold on. When I'm building traditional applications, all right, I I need to pass some variables or arguments. I write my algorithm and then I do the computation and I get an output, a desired output. An example would be if I'm building a calculator, if I'm building an addition function, all right? It means I pass two parameters, right? Two operands and one operator. And then I do some mathematics in there, and then the output is what? The sum of those two numbers. But here we see that it's quite different. So here in machine learning, what you're doing is that the features becomes your variables. So A and B will become your operands. However, you are expecting some output, all right? So these output will become the label. You're saying that this is what I want this model to predict. This is what I want the model to predict. So these are also passed as outputs into your computation. At the end of the day, what you want to create when you're using machine learning is an algorithm that will be able to process your features and give you the labels you want in terms of output. So that's just the basics of that. Now, when is machine learning the right tool, right? You need to start to answer the question, what are the forecast sales? What are, like, if you get to the point where these are things you need to know about, then you say that machine learning is what you need to do. So when should you use machine learning, right? If I want to find out how much, how many, I want to do which class does this belong to, I want to find out which does what group does something belong to, or I want to, there's something going on, I want to detect something is going off the pathing or off the path, which option should I choose? This would be a great time to consider machine learning. However, these can be classified into certain groups, right? First of all is supervised learning. All right. So supervised learning is when you technically are, spoon feeding or holding the hand of the AI model to say, well, this is how to do this is how you respond to this. All right. And regression and classification fall under supervised learning. All right. Then we can talk about unsupervised learning. Now, this is where the machine or the AI model starts to pick up things on its own. Maybe based on observation, based on some neural networks and all that, is able to determine, okay, so if there's a situation that I can do this on my own and to learn some intelligence. And clustering, anomaly detection, or recommendation would fall under unsupervised learning. And I gave an example of unsupervised learning to say that, let's say, AI models are able to say, well, if someone bought a camera and a tripod, right, and maybe battery packs, if the AI model realizes that this has been a pattern for a couple of people who buy a certain type of camera and a certain type of battery, so it uses unsupervised learning to say, well, if you're also buying the same camera and battery, then there is the likelihood that you will need a tripod. All right, so that falls under unsupervised learning. Awesome. So the model building process is thank you, Albert. I'm told my voice is a bit low. I don't know if it's my headset, but let's see if I can just bump this up a bit. Hopefully this is better. I hope I'm not blasting anyone's ears as well. So if the audio is too loud, please let me know. I can adjust that from here. Thanks, Albert, for telling me that. So, um, yep, yep, yep. Sorry, I need to also respond to a few people. Um, okay. Yep. So if you're on, just hey, send a message out. Let people know we are on. Let them join and also experience this. Okay, so this is the part it takes. So first off, you prepare your data, and what does preparing data entail? So you find, select, or create the data, you know, clean it, do whatever you want to do with the data, so you have a good data to get to start the process with. All right. Um, I need to. Okay, awesome. And then, uh, great. Then you move to training the model. All right. So training the model means applying the algorithm, selecting the candidate model, because you can train in multiple algorithms to figure out, okay, which of the models work for me. All right. You can do that. And then once you train the model, you need to test the model. Test the model to ensure that you have a good probability or good chance of getting a very high accurate model. Then once you're done, you deploy the model, and this cycle continues. All right. The cycle continues. Yes. So people are asking, is it on YouTube? Yes, it's on YouTube. Now I made mention, Reggie, I'm still waiting for your email. So just send it to me. If you're finding it difficult, or if you feel you don't want to send it here, send it to my WhatsApp number if you have that. All right. If you have the number, and I'll be glad to send you the pass right now. So yeah, so this cycle continues. So prepare, train, test, deploy. It goes through it. But then at some point, you be retraining the model. You go through the cycle all over again. All right. So great. Now let's take a look at model building. Like I mentioned, so preparing the data. Preparing the data entails what? You are finding and validate if you have enough data, to answer the questions you intend with your AI model. Gather external data to improve model performance. And yesterday I make an analogy that sometimes you want to correlate your data with other factors. For instance, let's say it's a shop, all right, and you have sales data, product, everything. You want to correlate that with probably weather data to say that what is the sales when it's raining? All right, do people buy or come to the shop when it's raining? So you want to correlate with other factors, all right? Then add future dates data set to get proper predictions, because you also need to be able to have that information readily for you. So this is an example of finding and validating the data, store ID, item ID, and you can see all these things set in here. And also it's good to fill in the missing gaps so that you get as much of an accurate module as possible. All right. And then here they are adding some external data indexes just to improve the performance or the credibility of their model. Then you can create the features, and here we mentioned that features are the inputs you want your model to have. So things like daytime sessions, you have all these data that will help you to build a very solid model. Now, so I'm going to do this in, how do you call it, when I'm done with the slide. So I'm just going to go through the slide quickly, like I mentioned. I'll show you how all these comes to play. Yep, and then training the model is the next thing. You select the right algorithm to train the model. And the question is, how do I pick the right algorithm? There is actually a cheat sheet, and this is an example of a cheat sheet. So for instance, you are saying, am I trying to discover a structure? Am I trying to find an unusual data point? So if you're trying to find an unusual data point, you are looking for anomaly detection. And then you can use the one class, vector machine, or you can use there's another, anomaly detection algorithm. If you're trying to discover structure, okay, cool. Reginald, you send it to my WhatsApp. Oh, let's see. I don't think I saw that. I don't think I saw that. Um, can you? Okay. can you just send it here? All right, let me just pick that and give to you. Okay, so if you're doing clustering, you want to use the k-means. If you want to find out, uh, oh, the font is blurry. Oh, well, that's crazy. Let's see if we can actually zoom this in a bit. Hopefully, it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, we'll go through it, so don't worry. If you're trying to find whether three or more differences, you want to use the multi-class classification. If you're just trying to find two, if you want to get predicting two values, then you're going to use just the what? The two class classification. And then if you want to predict values, you're using like regression, and there are different forms of regression. We won't go into the math of that, but you know that you have this form of regressions. Cool. So I'll make this cheat sheet available for you to download. I think I can actually send you. Let's do this. Azure ML cheat sheet. I have that, but yes. So the cheat sheet is here. Opening in a new tab. That's going to show me the download. Okay, so if you go here, I'm putting the link right here for you guys so you can download the cheat sheet from here. So that's where you can find the Azure cheat sheet. All right. So, so once we do that, we're going to use the machine, Azure machine learning. So let me get this running up. And this is quite simple. Let's say aka.ms slash Azure ML service. So that's what I'll be using, and I'll be showing you how to do that. So the Azure Machine Learning Service allows you to, create automated ML using a visual interface. You can create notebooks and files. So notebooks allow you to create, how do you call it, modules, or create just like Jupyter notebooks. You can create a whole experiment or AI model and document it and hand that off to someone who can see the steps that you have done. There's also the management of your compute, your data stores, and your workspaces, which we'll go through. Then obviously you test the model, all right, and then you deploy the model. Now, there is a lot of resource on Microsoft documentations and then also the MS Learn platform where you can get step by step. You can actually get learning parts if you want to become a data scientist or an AI engineer. There are all these parts for you to take a look at. So please go check that out. Now, one thing we encourage is that you get certified when you start going through this part because that's the only way we can actually assess that you've done, you claim to know what you have. And if you have a problem or if you need a study group, join the Accra.net user group. We have a study group. We've started creating study groups of people who want to do AI, mobile development, whatever, to help them get certified. So make sure you're joining any of our groups. I'm going to put the links out, so that, how do we do this? So that you can actually join and have a group of like-minded people to help you get certified. All right. So, um, with that said, let's get right into some action. Now, in the meantime, again, so this is where you'll be needing the passes. So far um, I received only one request for the certificate. Reginald, um, I'm trying to see this. So let me do this. Let me just go ahead and open up. So Reggie, um, if you can send your email here, all right, that'll really be useful for me to send you that. Okay. And yes, I really want to shout out Fifi Atkins Jr. Fifi, really appreciate your write-up on the event yesterday. Let's get in touch. Let's talk more. All right. So, the first person who requested for the pass, let's get you a pass right now. And I'm actually going to share a link where you can go and request the passes to do some of these things. Because It's actually a good starting point that would help you, all right, get started with Azure. So this is what I'll do. Save this. So the first pass has gone out. If you received it and you're on the stream, just give me a thumbs up so we know that you received the pass. Um, so if you need a pass, just let me know and I would send you um, a pass to try this out. Okay, so let's do this. Let me show you how. Let's actually show you how you can go ahead and claim the passes because that's very important. There's no use if you can't claim the pass. All right. So let's go here. So I'm going to put the URL right on screen. Let me bring my um, so let me bring it here. So I'm going to paste this in the link right here. So for for all of you who oh reload reload. So for all of you who have received the passes, all right? If you received the pass, so I just posted the URL for the pass. If you received it, just go to just go to start, and you will be required to, well, I already have an account, so I'm probably being asked to log in, which I will go ahead and do because I want to walk through the process with you. And then once you log in, you would be asked to confirm. Yep, I'm confirming that. And then you'll be asked to. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And then you'll be asked to, put in the pass. So you put the pass here. So whatever pass you received, you can just put the pass here and then, off we go. So do that. The link is in the chat. You can put in that link in the URL and we can get going. So I am going to my portal because I already have an Azure account. Ba-ba-bum. Okay, so let's do this. So this is how the so you should see a UI like this where you can claim your pass, all right, when you enter the URL I sent. All right, so let's get into it. So I am going into my Azure portal right now, and I have something going. Do I just delete this and create a new one? Yeah, I think I would do that. So I'm going to go ahead. Boop, 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 boom. I'm just going to go ahead and then we're just going to create a new one, all right, just for the purpose of this. So let's go. Let me go to my resource groups, and I'm just going to create a new one and delete this one after the show because I realize that it's consuming a lot of my resource, so that's fine. So let's go here and create our new resource. So create a resource, click on this button, and just go type, Azure Machine Learning. This pops up, and it's going to bring the machine learning service here. So let me save this so it can always pop up on my list. And they can go here and click on create. Now, before you do that, you realize that you have useful links here, the AI gallery, the pricing detail, and documentations. Let's just flip this to the side. Now, I mentioned that you can also check out the AI school, the Microsoft AI school. Let me quickly show this here. Um, pu- 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 pum, pum. So the Microsoft AI School is an initiative, from Microsoft that allows, users to go through some form of curriculum, all right? And then certify if you want to, or just understand. There is another one. Let me go back here. The AI Business School, all right? So the AI Business School, also part of the AI school, but this is more tailored to business applications using AI, how it applies to several business scenarios. So check these two out. They are really, really helpful resources you can use. So let's get right into it. So yep, I'm going to go ahead and create. Now, if you've used the Azure Machine Learning Studio before, I mean Classic, this is a newer version in preview now that allows you to actually create your AI models and use the SDKs to further edit and update them. With the classic module, you could only do that in the portal. You couldn't bring them down. But in this advanced module, in the new model, you can edit them in any of the languages you choose. So that's just the difference we have there. So the workspace name, we'll just call it Demystify Tech. That'll be our workspace name. I'll use the subscription because that's what I have, and I'll create a new group here, and I'll call it the Demystify AI. Yeah, that's just to logically group it for me. Um, let's see, latency. So there is the Azure speed test. There's a site called the Azure Speed Test that allows you to check the Azure latencies for the various Azure regions. All right. So um, from here, you could actually select any of the regions and see the latency or the time it takes for services to respond. So I have realized that for some time now, France Central has been quite faster for me, but unfortunately, I don't think France Central has the Azure. Okay, yeah, here we go. There we go. Awesome. And then my pricing tier, for the purpose of this, if you want to use the designer, the ML designer, you need to choose the enterprise plan. Because the enterprise plan is what allows you to have the designer to create the codeless AI module. So we're going to go for that. And then, yeah, so it adds some of these resources, storage, application insight, and keyboard. And that allows it to just perform its work. So let's go ahead and click create. I can close this now. And we will be using the resources from the Global AI Bootcamp, specifically the machine learning. So if you want to follow along, this is the URL. We'll be using this. So I just posted the URL as well, so you can get information from there. Everything checks out. So let's click on create and sit back, get some coffee, whilst it goes ahead to create our resources for us. In the meantime, if you have any questions for me regarding what we're doing, you can, pass them on to me. So thank you for the comment. Really appreciate that. So just send me a message if there's anything you need me to clarify or go over. Just let me know, and then I will be, I'll be more than glad to answer that question. All right. Okay, okay, awesome. So Reggie, I'm now seeing your email, so I'm going to send you your pass right now, and let me know. So Reggie, I just sent your pass. I just sent your pass, so just check it out. All right, so yes, Reggie, I received your email. Thank you very much. So let's go to the resource. Now that we have it created, let's go to our resource. Your feedback is really, really needed because this helps us or helps me to know if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm doing the wrong thing, or if it's what you want or you want to see something else. So please, please, let me know. All right. So here, so this brings us to the machine learning services portal. I think I'll probably just squeeze myself off the screen so you can see it in full. So let me zoom this in. So we have A lot of information. You can view more samples here, learn more about enterprise, view the forum, and join the conversation if you want to. But this is what we want to do. We want to launch the new Azure Machine Learning Studio. It's currently in preview, so things might change as you try it, but it is an awesome platform to check out. So click on that. So whilst we wait for that to load, load. Well, hopefully gods of Demo Day are kind to me today, so they don't hold my computer hostage. Yep, sign in. We are in business. Hopefully. 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 Okay, our studio has loaded. So, what do we want to do? Register data, train model, evaluate model. These are just, quick tours that if you're starting out, you can click on them and actually go through the process, step by step. But we have, we want to go through something a bit different. So, let's get started. So, now that we have this, all right? We need to now start training. First of all, we need to get our data set. That's the most important thing. We need to get a data set. And per the workshop, we actually had a data set from on wine. We just want to predict the wine quality. So that's what we are going to do. We're going to predict the wine quality using some data sets we've been provided. I already sent the URL. I posted the URL. So we're going to go there. We're going to download the data set, okay, which is something that was picked up by a number of people, just collected the data on various wine qualities, and we're going to use that to build our predictor. So once we are in our workspace right now, I just want to go over a few things as you can see. So on the left side here, let me see if I can zoom this in so you can see properly. Yeah, I believe this should be this should be very legible now. So on on the left side, okay, of the studio, here you have your notebooks. All right, so if you have created multiple notebooks which will have like your code, your SD, your samples and all that, and you can give this out to someone to see the instructions and the code bit and follow along, okay, just so you're creating some form of documentation that has your model built in, as part of it. So this way will show you all your notebooks. Then we have your automated MLs or machine learning you've created that automatically trains your models and tune it using some data you provide for it. So you can do that also from the studio. Then the designer. So we will be using the designer. So the designer is a drag and drop interface that allows you to prepare your data, train it, and deploy. This is the no code solution, all right, to building your AI model. Then in under asset, now you have your data set. So here your data sets are the data input or the data you have that you want to use to build your AI model. All right. Now you can import your own data. You can actually connect to open source data and use, or you can create your own data on the fly as well. So experiment. Yeah, experiment are your models that you are training. Well, we call them experiments. So if I pick this algorithm, try this, score it, evaluate it, those together will form your experiment. Then we have pipelines. Now, Microsoft did a very, very cool thing by moving to this pipeline pattern. So what that means is that you can actually have let's say, an experiment that just connects to a data source, prepares the data, and that's it, and save that as a pipeline. And then you can reuse this pipeline in subsequent AI building. So you can just, oh, I've already imported a, let's say, the wine data set and prepared it, and I've saved that as a pipeline. I can now reuse that pipeline in subsequent experiment or AI models, all right? And then here obviously are the models you've trained that you believe this is the model I want to use. And then you have endpoints. Now you can have two endpoints. You can have real-time endpoints and then the regular endpoint. So real-time endpoint allows users to connect to your model and get response in real time as they call them. Um, the other one is just the regular endpoint, which is once you've deployed your model as an API endpoint, people can call it and batch and do processing against that. So with this in mind, we're going to go ahead, all right, and upload our data set. So I have already gone ahead to download the data set. Let me open this here so we can see the data sets that we are using. Actually, this is the data set here. So let me copy the link, bring it here, and yep, let me zoom this in. So this is it, the wine. So they have the wine data, okay, and then they have a validation data that allows us to actually validate if our model is actually doing the correct thing. So if you check the wine data out, I'm just going to open this up. I mean, you can just clone this whole thing and have it. So this is how it looks like. It's just a bunch of acidity, volatile acidity, citric, residual, just some information. All right. So um, you can either just do a raw and then download the file if you want. So or you can just however you're going to do to download that. But I simply just do the raw and then it opens up and I save it. Just save as and I put it on my desktop. So I already have that saved. All right. So I'm going to click data sets. All right. So we're going to import that data. I already have it. All right. And I'm going to click on create data set and I'll pick from what? From local files. This because I already have it downloaded, there. And then I'm just going to browse and it's on my desktop in global AI. And yeah, that's wine data. Open this up. And then it's going to give it a name. Just going to leave it to tabular. I'm just going to keep all these defaults. I can do advanced settings like, it's delimited by a comma and all those crazy things. I can do that. So just going to click on next. This should load my data. Um, if you're following along and you're stuck anywhere, just, prompt me and I will try as much as possible. A recap. Let's do this. Okay. All right, so here is giving us some info about, the file we just loaded. Is it a delimited file? You can see the options here. Plain text, packet Excel binary. You can just pick any of them if you have to skip any rows. And you can see some form of a preview of it. Let me zoom out a bit so you can see that. It's because I've zoomed in so much, you can't really see a lot of it, but I think this is fine. Yeah, so you can see down here, just picking it up. So once I'm okay with it, I'm just going to click next. And yeah, I'm just going to go through. This is a schema, just asking, do I, not applicable, select, like what are the properties to it, all right? Do I, want to change its format? Because Azure automatically, predicted or not, but, figured out, okay, this is a decimal based on the numbers in there, all right? So just going to keep this to default like I made, but you know that you can always go back, change it if it read it differently, all right? So let's go ahead and then Just click on create. And this should create the data set right here for me. So now I have the data set. So here I could import as many data sets as I want, but now we're dealing with just this particular data set, so this is fine. All right. So now that we have that, let's start our new experiment. So we mentioned that we're going to use the designer. So let's go ahead and click the designer here. Yeah, thank you very much for all that information. Yep. So here, once we are here, there are samples you can use, but we are going ahead to create our own. So we click the plus here to the on the easy to use pre-built modules. Let me zoom in so you can see this. So I click here. Okay. So once this is here, I'm going to call this how do I call this? How do I call this? So I'm going to call this Demystify dash model. All right. Let's just call it this one. Let's call it Demystify. Let's just call it Demystify. I mean, it's just a name. Now, the other thing we need to do is to select a compute target that will run or process our module. All right. So I'm going to click on the select, and then I'll click on the create new, and I'll just pick this predefined one. All right. And I can decide to give my compute, a name. So I'll just call this Demystify compute. All right. And then save. And this gives me access, this gives me access to a compute that I can use to run my module. All right. Now, with this done, now I have all that I need. I can go ahead now and start working. So now it's time for the magic. All right. So because I already imported my data set, I can now bring it in here and start creating my model. So I go to data sets, and you can see my data set here, right? So I just drag this here, boop, right into my workspace. Now I have various options, okay, that I can use to inspect the data, okay, and to see how it is like. I can actually visualize this. When I click here, okay, when I click on the data and I go to the output, right, I can click on visualize right here. And this visualizes the data set I have. All right, so this gives me a visualization of the data set. So you can see a graph of it. If I click on it, it calculates, okay, so this is, for fixed acidity, these are the mean, this is the mean, the median, the mean, the max, all these things, and visualizes this for me. If I click on this one, I get some visualization on it as well. So there are a lot of tools, okay? It gives you, a lot of information about the distributions and all that. So you kind of like have first-hand info about, the data set you're putting. So now let's go ahead and start modeling. All right. So let's close this and close this. And let's see if I can just bring this back just a bit. I'm just trying to see how I can make this. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can move around in the environment, but I just want to make sure that I have it kind of like big enough so that you guys can actually also see what I'm working on. Okay. So now, excuse me, sorry. Raise hand. Okay. Reggie, what's up? So there's a hand up. What is the challenge? I don't say problem, but challenge. So what is the challenge? Okay. So is so I hear we're still having a little challenge with the audio. Is it better now? If could you go back a bit on setting up the workspace? Okay. So um we mentioned that right from from your Azure portal. Once you redeem your pass, all right, you are brought to the Azure portal. Okay, let me actually just take you through this process. So you would okay, awesome, thanks. So you would go to create. Mark, welcome. Awesome. I'm guessing you don't need an Azure pass, so kudos. So once you get to your portal, all right. Once you get to your portal here, okay, you click on create, right? Once you click on create, just go in. You can either decide to come here and probably just AI machine learning, click on this, and you see all the product under machine learning, and you can pick machine learning from here, all right? Or what you need to do is just go ahead here and just type machine learning, all right? And you will see that it will pop up and you can pick. Okay. Does that help, Reginald? Hopefully that helps. So when you go there, that should bring you to this. It should bring you to this portal. Okay, let me actually go to my resources. This is it. So it should bring you to this portal here, and then you can just click on launch the new Azure Machine Learning Studio, and this will jump you to this particular screen that we are here. We are on right now. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mark. All right, awesome. So we can move along now. Great. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Um, sorry guys, just trying to send a link out to some people that are asking for it. So people are asking, someone is asking me, oh, how do I connect and watch what you're doing? So I'm just trying to send them the link a minute, and then we can we can do this real quick. We can do this real quick. Awesome. So now let's go on. So we've now got to the point where we have to start modeling. We have brought in our data set, and if you I mentioned, if you go to data set here, your data set, you can just drag it here and you have your data set. So modeling is the first part. I mean, once you have your data set, you have to start modeling your AI. Now, it's part of the life cycle, and you have three goals. Okay, first is that you want to determine which are the optimal data features for your machine learning module. That is one. And then two, you want to create an informative machine learning model that predicts the target variable most accurately. All right. And the third one is you want to create a machine learning model in such a way that it's suitable for production. So these are the three things. One, you are making sure that you are getting optimal data features. Second, you are creating information machine learning model that predicts the target accurately. And third is that you are creating a model that is suitable for what? Production. So keep these three things in mind. So to do this, we have to split our data into training and testing model. That is like a must in almost all machine learning modules or algorithm or modules that you're building or agent you build. You need to have a training data set and then what? A testing data set. So usually what you want to do is that you want to decide, okay, how many records or what's the percentage I want to use to do the training and the percentage for testing. So some people use the 80-20 rule or 70-30. I'll probably go with the 80-20 rule. Okay, where I use sorry, 20%, 80% of the data to train the model, and then 20% to test it, just to validate to do that. So in order to decide which of our models is suitable for production, we will need to test the data, score it with our train model, okay, and then we can evaluate that. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead to do that. So um, during the data preparation, we've created a variable called color, or color, as you might call it. Forgive my accent. And and as you're dealing with white and red wine, Now we also want to create other dependent variable like quality. In this case, this is what we are trying to predict the quality of the wine. So we'll create some of these labels. Now we want to find out whether the wine is a good wine in terms of quality or not bad, or bad wine. So ideally, if the quality is equal to or higher than 6, all right, we say it's a good wine, all right. But if it's lower than 6, then we say that it's a bad wine, all right, in that format. So we can create new variables with either the execute, that will execute a Python script, okay, or execute an R script, which has been pre-prepared for us to do that. So this one already contains the pre-formatted functions that we'll use. So let's go ahead and do that. Ba-ba-ba. Okay, so we have a question. Let's look at something here. I want us to check out something. So you realize that you have that info already in there, and it's just giving you an idea that you can test that. So let's go ahead and do here. So you see that if you look closely, we have another variable of quality, all right, quality boolean, that's going to give us that prediction. Okay, so as you can see, I can see true, false, true, false, true. So anything true determines that the quality is good. Anything that's not stated means it's not of good quality. So if this label was not here, we could create this label ourselves. All right, so that's why it's good to visualize to see and create proper feature sets that you want to train on. All right, so now we'll run the experiment to execute our code and just to make sure that we have everything we need. So let's do this. Let's go to the experiment tab. Okay, and I'm going to click where's that refresh? Let's see. Pa, 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 pa. Where is that experiment? I had a pre-trained the experiment, but let's see. Okay, let me bring this out and let's go ahead and let's see. My data set is here, my experiment is here. Where is that? This is strange. Let's see. This is a module here. I need to put in that experiment. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Looks like okay. Let's just I can't find the oh welcome as a thank you. Okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and let's play this and work this out. So I'm going to open this up. I can't find the script here, but okay, so let's go ahead. Uh, because this is not listing here. Experiment. Oh yeah, I don't want to see that. So okay, no problems. Let's go to our designer. Let's open our pipeline. We should have our yeah, we have our data set here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do this. I'm going to look for split data and then I'm going to connect this here and I'll say I want to use 80%. I want to randomize a split. Use default compute. Yep, awesome. So now I'm passing this to it, and actually I can, you know, as I can do this. Okay, now I need to select, I need to exclude or select the columns that I need. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do the select columns in data sets. Let's bring this here. And when I split the data, so one portion of the data is what I'm going to use. All right. Because I've splitted the data. So I want to use one portion of the data to do that. So let's click this. Um, and I click on edit column here. So I'm going to do all, where is that? Where is that? Columns. Let me do this. Let me do all columns. And I want to select by name. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah. You know what? Let's do this. Let me do this first. I'm just going to go ahead and run this. Okay. Oh, no, no. Sorry. Why would I have done that? Let me go to split. Let's connect this. And we're doing 80. We're good. Auto saving. Awesome. Okay. Let me just run this. So the reason I'm doing that is, so I'll call this a new experiment, and I'll call it the Demystify EXP. So the reason why I did that was that I needed to run it once so that it's going to consume the data set and make some of these things available for me. So this is running. I'll just wait for it a bit. Okay. Let's see. So just waiting for this to run, right? Let's see. Waiting for the data set to run. Now, if you have any questions, let me know. And Azay, if you need a pass also, let me know. I can send you a pass. All you need to do is just to drop your email, and I'll send you a pass. So at this point, if you have any questions whilst you're waiting for this to run, just ask me, hit me. And let me know, if there's anything with a stream, there's something you want me to look at, adjust, take care of, we could do that, all right? We could do that as well. Oh, someone wants to join the user group. Yep. And whilst we're doing that, actually, let me move this here and make available the URLs you need to join um, our user group. So I'm putting the URLs here. So this is to join Accra.net user group, and also to join our teams channel where we have all the various sections in development. And then if you're interested in the Power Platform as well, you can join the user group. But if you are in Ghana and you're interested in joining our WhatsApp group, that is also here. So okay, to split the data, Ming asks for a compute target. Yes, Reginald. You will need to provide. You need to create a compute to be able to run the AI model. So usually when that pops up, just click on creates the AI, creates the target, and then when you click on create the target, what's going to happen is that you just pick the default, give it a name, and save, and that will be a compute target you can use throughout the experiment. So, yep, you can do that. And if you let's see, so this is where is that? Yeah, so the wine data, I actually shortened it here. So if you're looking for the wine data, you can find the wine data here as well. And then this is the yep, and this is the design. This is the GitHub repo as well. So I just shortened it just to make it a lot easier for all of us. So it's still running. Let's see this. Running time, pipeline parameters. There are no parameters here. So let me just refresh this. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so let's reload this. Mm, 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 mm. Well, this is still running. Let's see. Let me check this out. Execute an R script. Let me bring this here and see if I can connect that while this is working. So just as I mentioned earlier on that you can run Python scripts, you can run your R scripts. So for those of you that say, okay, I have investment already in Python or I have investment already in R, okay, you can use that as well. And we mentioned that we added a little condition to say that if the wine is greater than or equal to 6, the value is, it gives us, we wanted to say it's a good wine. If it's less than 6, we wanted to say it's a bad wine. All right, awesome, awesome, Reginald. Thanks. Good to know that you got it running now. So we can actually run a Python script, in this case an R script, just to go loop over the data and do something. Let me show you this. Let me actually um, open my Visual Studio Code and show you something. Let me actually close this folder. Okay, and then let me show you this code. So so this is a very very simple R script. All right. So this is a function picking all the data frames, just um, checking, the quality based on the if the quality is greater than or equal to set, and just what all we're doing is that we are setting the quality boolean value, to either a one or a zero. All right, that's all we're doing, and we are using this R script to do that. So what I'll do is I can run this R script against my data set for it to set some values in the data set. So you can do pre-processing of the data, before you move on. So let me copy this. Um, so let's do this, and then, in fact, let me, because it's run for once, this will cost me if I stop it, but I'm just tempted to stop this first. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I stopped it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to delete the split for a second, and then I'm going to run this here, and let's bring this here. I'm going to expand this. Um, so uh, let's do this. This is a bit. Oh, sorry. Let me actually show you the whole screen so you can see where the script is coming from. So I'm going to edit this code, all right? And all I'm going to do now is just return this. All I'm doing is I'm just going to change the content of this, you know, let me just change the content of this code to this. So I don't need this again. So basically, just checking the data frames and checking the quality boolean. If it is, 6, just setting it and returning that. So I'm just changing the script, all right? Okay. So with that done, I want us to first of all take a look at this. Let's look at the output, and then when I visualize, all right? Look at this closely. Let's go back here to the quality. Do you realize that the quality will has true, 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 and like empty, all right? So the script I'm going to run now, ideally is just supposed to change that. So let's now run this. Ba-ba-bam. Yep, that's an experiment. I'll run this. So the whole thing is just to convert the boolean I have, all right? The whole thing is just to convert those true and 000. Sorry, true and empty, empty, empty. It's just to convert the true empty, empty, empty to 10101010. Okay, depending on the quality or like the number from the quality. So 6 or greater is 1, less than 6 is 0. All right. So we're just preparing the data so our model can use that. All right. Thanks, boss. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. Let me know if things are going wrong. If just give us a feedback so we can make the stream a lot better. And tell me if it's a good, if it's how do I put it? If it's worth your Sunday evening. If this timing works for you, at least you can learn something new before you begin the new week. I mean, I'll be appreciative, to know that this helps and then we can shape it better. So thank you very much. Okay. Whilst we can let's check the view running. Yeah, yeah, it's running. Yep, awesome. Just give it some time to run. Now, after that, we would go through the process of modeling where we select the columns. Now, these are the columns we want to include, and these are the columns we want to take out. And then we can go ahead and now select our classification. So if you look closely, all I need to do is come here and select the options I want. So, I mean, whilst it's still running, I can go ahead and select, the things I want. So I know I want to select columns and data set. I can bring that here. Yeah, while it's running. So I know I'll need this. I'll bring that in. And you can hover over them to get some information. All right, it's quite simple. Um, then let's see, running through that. So it's as easy as dragging, dropping, and again, if you are caught up like, which of the algorithms should I use? I mentioned that there's a cheat sheet. I already put it in the links. Just go there, look at it, follow the flow chart, and you know what it will give you an idea of, the algorithm to use. You can better the algorithms and you'll be fine. But if you want to be a daredevil, then you can go the next step of trying to write your own algorithm. You have your mathematics and your statistics would have to be on point to want to do that. That's where the data scientist come in. But with this, you don't need to do that at all. So, and just to reiterate, you didn't necessarily need to run the script, okay? If the data set was already prepared with the 101010, you don't need to run this. Okay. But in cases where, let's say, the data came in and it wasn't, then you can use the Python or R to massage that, the data set in the format you wanted. So just so you know, this was, you don't have to do this if you have a good data set. All right. So just keep that in mind. So there's a question. Thank you, Edu, for that question. The question was that, does the use of experiments not offset the need for an actual compute? No. So everything you're doing is an experiment. In the machine learning studio term, language term, what we are doing now is an experiment, and it adds up. It's actually cumulative. So anytime I add something to this, and I check that out, it's termed as an experiment. So you need a compute to run all the experiment. So your computer is what's going to run the models and do all that, you know. Okay, so now that our stuff is done, let's go ahead one more time and again go to output. Sorry, let me visualize this for you. And then let's go to visualize so we can see what has happened to the data set. So I'm going to pull it here. And oh no, okay, so that's going to come into the output. So let's do this. Let me look at the output. Okay, you see the result data set. Let's visualize this and see. Okay, and do you see this? Can you see this side? Do you see that now we have 0111, 00111. We have, so now we have added what? The quality boolean here. Okay, and this is giving us the 1010 what that we need. So this is what we are going to use, to train. Now, however, if you look closely, we don't now at this point we don't need this quality boolean because it has some null values. So the next thing for us to do is to now take it out, take these values out, and then leave the ones we want. All right, and if you look closely, this is result data set what? Not two, just result data set. So this is result data set, and this is the results data set 2. Okay, if you visualize result data set, um, that is what we need to connect to. Result data set, this one, not data set 2. Data set 2 has just nothing in there. All right, so this is the one we want to use, result data set. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so then we need to now go ahead and select our here we need to select the columns you want to use, and this is result data set 2 is result data set we are looking for. Okay, so and then uh, drag this here, select this, and then let's select the edit columns here, and then now we can go ahead and say select columns by name. All right, and we would select add, let's see, we have the all types, and I'll do add all. So this brings everything here. Okay, so what we need, we don't need what now, we don't need this qual bow, we don't need it, we take this out. Okay, and then we don't need what, the quality, we don't need the quality as well, so we take these two out. So what we are doing is we want to use, so this is now our feature set. If you remember, features are like input, so we're going to use all these data points to determine the quality, of a wine. All right, So we're taking this out, and then we click on save. And again, to answer your question, Willie, I'm going to run experiment again. So all this is just um, I can actually give it and like different names so I know the different stages of the experiment because I mentioned that there are pipelines. So I can say here is column select, okay, and then run. So what? Remember another cool thing that Azure has done, okay, is the ability to do DevOps on AI models. So I could go ahead, let's say Demystify experiment. So what you could actually do a CI/CD now on AI models. So I don't know if you do if that answers your question. So it doesn't defeat the purpose of you know it doesn't defeat the purpose of having the compute. So so we're just waiting for that to run. So let's see. Um, okay, we wait for that to run. So this is just, just setting up the columns that we need. We can check the output if we want to, but we just wait for that to run. Again, like I mentioned, if you need a pass to do this, just send me your email. I'll send you a pass. If you need me to clarify something, just put a question in a chat. I would answer that as well. So, uh, okay, so now let's go ahead. Now that we've run the experiment, all right, we see that we don't have those dependent variables anymore because we're going to be now using the quality, all right? So let's go ahead now. Now, at this point, now that we've prepared the data, I'm now ready to split the data, okay? I'm going to split the data now into my training data set, okay, and my testing data set. So I just type in split here. So drag this here and we'll connect this to this. And like I mentioned, we can use the 80/30, all right? So I'll just go ahead and say, let's split the rows. I'll use 70, I'll use 80%, okay? I want my model to be quite accurate. Random seed, yeah, seed it with 7 values, and straight, yeah, start fill, yeah. Let's do this, okay? And the column I want to do that on is the color. The column name is the color. Yep. Save. And then I can give a comment if I want to. And yes, I'm going to use my default compute. All right. So this is the default compute I'm using. So to also add up to Edu's question, if you have several computes, you can choose to use one compute to run this particular experiment, another compute to run another experiment. Now, this is because sometimes the task you are performing might be compute intensive, okay? And because the task is compute intensive, you might need a higher compute. But if you, in this case, we're just doing an experiment, we're just testing it out. We only have one compute, so we can just keep using it. So that is the reason why there's an option to select compute to use. So the various experiment or levels you get to in modeling, you could use different compute sizes. Maybe another step you might have would be to import data from, let's say, in Ghana, let's say DVLA, which is synonymous to DMV in the US. You want to pull some data from there. Maybe pulling that data will require a high compute. So you could create a different compute, to do that. All right. So yeah, we have this sorted out. Okay. So now we're using 80%. We're using 80% of our data, to train the model, and then we're using 20% to test the model. Okay. So if you actually visualize the data now, you could see that this is your 20%, this is your 80%. All right. Now we are now going to train the model. Okay. We are ready to now train the model. So to train the model, um, we are going to again go here, just typing here train. You can see train model. Okay, let me close this up. Now I can push this up here and just move what? Train model. Just move it here. All right. Now we can now connect, okay, the right input, the proper input port, okay, and just put this here. Uh, 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 uh. So I'm going to do this. Yep. So someone is asking, why am I putting it on the right? Okay. So this one, if I click on it here, you will see that um, this here, okay, this here is the data set. The left one, okay, the left one is where I'm going to put the algorithm I want to use to do the training. Is that okay? Clarified. All right. So let's go ahead. Now, what did we want to find out? We want to find out if a wine is good quality or bad quality. So which means we're just looking for two things. So we know that we need to use the what? Two class, okay, decision tree. It's just a two class classification. So let's go ahead. So we have our training model here. It's right to the left of our split, and then I'm going to here and I'm going to type in here two class yep, so here, so two class boosted decision tree. All right, so I'm going to drag this here, and I'm just going to reduce this a bit so you can see what's happening, and I'm going to put it here. Okay, and I'm going to just bring this a bit here. Now, let's go and look at the cheat sheet. Let me go to the reference. No, let me just open the cheat sheet here. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this is just for us to see, you know, oh, I already have this. So actually, let me just open it up. Let me just open it so we can all see this. Where is that? Yeah, global AI. And cheat sheet. This is a cheat sheet. So I just want to open this so we can all understand why I am using. So what do we say? What do you want to do? We come here and say, oh, predict between two categories right here. And what are the categories we are predicting? Now, so let's bring this here. We are predicting what? Two categories. And the two categories we are predicting, it says if you want to do two category prediction, use what? Two class what? Classification. So let's come down here. It says that if you use two class support vector machine, this uses for under 100 features and is a linear model. If you want to use a two class average perceptron, it's a fast training, gives you a linear model. Then two class decision forest is accurate and trains fast. Two class logistic regression, fast training, linear model. And then we are using the two class boosted decision tree. It's accurate, faster training, but has a what? A large memory footprint. Now, it's accurate, it's fast training, but it's going to take, so the question is, if this is going to take a large memory footprint, why would I want to use it? Well, the idea is that this is going to give you a much accurate, result. So we can decide to say that, okay, all these are linear, all right, just not necessarily what we are looking out for. So that's why we're not going for the non-linear option. Okay, so where is our, well, there we go. So I can bring it back here. Okay, so now what we need to do, okay, is now connect this one. So we can actually bring this up here. Okay, so now we can connect this to it from here. Um, mhm. Okay, so what we are trying to, what we are trying to predict, okay, is the quality. All right. So let's go here, edit, um, and just start typing quality, and then it will pop up. Let's say column names. So what we are trying to predict here, um, that'll be the dependent variable. Yep. So this is what we're trying to predict, right? The quality. So close this, and then I can connect this here. Yep. So now we have this done. Okay. Okay. So if I select this, so these are the things. So we're going to leave the standard. We're going to leave the standard, hyperparameters as they are, built with. Um, let's check this. So maximum number of leaves per tree, 20. That's fine. So you can decide to go, as many levels as you want. But then let's change the random seed to like 7. Okay. Just to make it, reproducible. Just to make it reproducible. So once you've done this, again, I'm saving. I'm now going to also what? Run this experiment again. So run this. And yep, I'm going to run it on top of the same experiment I'm doing. I mean, for CI/CD, how was the wine data set created? Was it this? Yeah. So this is a pre. So as it's a pre. The data set was already created. So I actually sent a list. If you look here, I think I'm just going to paste that back in here. Let me see if I can copy this. So you can get a data set from here, right? You can get a data set. So this is a pre-created data set. So like I mentioned, as part of the cycle for it, you can create your own data set, all right, or you can actually import data sets that already exist. In our case, we are actually using an already existing data set that has been created. So we'll wait for that to process. So the next thing that we're going to do is once we train the model, we need to what? Score. We need to score the model. Okay. So, and how do we score the model? You can score the model by passing. So we're going to use another model here called score model here, this one. So when we call the score model, we are now going to pass our what? The output from our train model, and then if you remember, the the 20% of the data that we didn't use or that we earmarked for testing, we're going to use that to score to see how accurate our model is. And once that is accurate enough for us, we can go ahead and then actually evaluate that model. Okay, and once we see the regression and the paths for the, we just go ahead and deploy it. So we can deploy it as a web service, deploy it as a real-time web service. We can actually even deploy it into a web app or deploy it into a containers, right, or deploy it into a compute, and then we can just allow people to call it and just test it out. So yeah, we are almost there. I know it's we've been streaming for a while now, but we are almost there. So once this is done, we'll just go ahead to score the model. And if you have any questions, you can obviously post them on all the channels. I will gladly respond. If you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, just waiting for our model to. Okay, so our model has been trained. All right, so the next thing for us to do now is to score the model. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead. All right, I'm going to drag this here. All right, quite simple. Pen score, yep, use default compute target, obviously. We're going to use that. And then I'm going to drag this to the left one here and then go up all the way to my split. So that's why I can, let me bring the split here so that I can now get the 30% of the data. And then, now there's one thing I need you to note. Watch this. When I click here, all right, I don't know if you can see this, but you realize that there's a region around the score model. There's a region around the score model that has turned, that's highlighted, telling you you can connect to this point. All right, so you click here and you are done. Let's bring this here a bit so it doesn't crisscross. Yes, so Reggie, the concepts are clear, but only you have you. Sorry, forgive me. So this is it. See, let me open. This is the script. Okay, just go in and replace the script with this. So, in fact, let me copy this. How do I do this? How do I do this? Let's do this. Let's do this. If you went to the GitHub repo that I sent, the script is there. But for the sakes of, let me see if I can just paste this here. I've not done this here. Well, yep. So for the sakes of this, let's just put it here. Okay, and see if this uh okay, yeah, mascot. Oh, yeah, so that's it. So sorry, Reggie, and good call that you prompted me. All right, so now what we are going to do, okay, is let's do this. And obviously now the good thing is that when when you're running the module, okay, in most times it builds on top of the things you've already run. So if you look closely, sometimes it doesn't take that long for like things that have already been run to run again. Okay, it's just, as you can see, those are faster. So it's just the new ones you've added that takes time to run. All right, so that's another cool thing to note about the UI. Awesome. Yeah. So I think the repo is, let's see, I think, yeah, Accra Labs. Yeah. So I created a short URL here. So that's Accra Labs. Yeah. So you can use that as well. So now we score the model, and once that is done, we can actually visualize. Okay. We can visualize it, the result of the model, and see those two extra columns, the scored labels, which is the quantity, the scored labels, and the scored probability. So when you're building an AI model, you always have these two columns that are added, the scored labels and then the scored probabilities. That tell you that this is how accurate I think my score is for this particular record set. All right, awesome. So this is done. So let's visualize it. So how do we visualize this? We click here and then we go to the output, and then you can see visualize. Okay, let's visualize this. So as you can see, drag all here and you can see the quantity, sorry, the quality here. All right, the scored label. So look at this. So this is the quality here. So score label is 1 1, and look at the percentage, the probabilities: 80, 70%, 30%. So this is, so what's telling you is that when the result of a score probability is zero point 0.5 and higher, okay, the score label will be 1. But then when it's below that, it will be 0. So if you look closely, if you look at the score probability, everything above 5 is like a positive. Like, okay, so I think This is my score label, okay? So if you look closely, look at this. Quite, we're getting some quite good numbers, right? So with this visualized, all right? Uh, yeah, yeah. So again, like yeah. Sorry, thanks for the time, Mark. Yeah, obviously this is going to be available on demand on all my channels, so you can join and watch later on. Thank you very much. And I'll also be following up with a blog post or articles on step by step how to do this, so you can follow up along. Make a date to join us, next week. We have Tuesday, IoT Tuesday coming up as well, and Fridays and then Sundays. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So so another thing you can do is if you felt like you wanted to do a cutoff, okay, you could put another script to do the cutoff. But today we are doing codeless, so that's fine. So now with this done, I'm just going to now go ahead and evaluate my model. So I'm just going to do evaluate and then drag evaluate here, and obviously, yep, just drag this. Yep, I'm evaluating this model. This is the only module I have. Now, evaluate model allows you um, let's do this. So, evaluate model allows you, we could have added another algorithm here. We could have added another algorithm and then evaluated it so that we could see the two, side by side. So once I add this, let me do this and go ahead and run the experiment as always. Okay, and this should be done quickly because most of this thing have already run. So it's just compounding on it. As you can see, green, 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 take green. So see that it just evaluates that is the next thing to run. And when that happens, we can see um, the graphs and visualizations of it. And then we can see, how it predicted it. And then we just go ahead and deploy. And one thing to note is that when you're evaluating your model, okay, this is where you need to decide if I'm getting 77% or 80% or 85%, is it enough for me that I can apply this in production to make meaning or to say that I can guarantee I can trust this model, okay? If that's not the case, go back, retrain, get more data, clean the data and retrain it. That's very, very important, all right? So we're just waiting for the evaluation to be done. And once the evaluation is done, we can go ahead and deploy. Yep. So it's done. So if I click on this and then we go to the output as usual and then we evaluate. Yep. And then we visualize this. So that look at this. Okay, so look at the score data set. Look at the precision. We are getting close to, one. So I mean, I can, these are the true positive rates and this is the precision. I can actually say that I'm much confident, with this model. I can say that, you know, actual prediction, this is the actual versus the prediction predicted. I can say that look at this, I'm 70%, yeah, 80%. Yeah, I'm very confident about this model, right? I'm really confident about this model. So I can go ahead now and say I want to deploy. So deployment is the next stage. All right, now this is what I'm saying, that I can create a real-time interface pipeline or a batch interface pipeline, and this is where deployment comes in. So um, as part of the life cycle, you want to deploy, our develop model with a data pipeline so that in a production environment so we can actually use it, or our users can actually have access to this. So what do we do? So we are going to go ahead and create a what? A predictive experiment with this. All right. So once we are satisfied, let's go ahead and create an interface pipeline. Right. So this is it. So here I can create an interface pipeline, whether it is real time or it is batched. Okay. So um, so this is only going to happen. You're actually going to see this if you run the experiment. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to run the interface pipeline. Click this one. Mm-hmm. Mm, 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 mm. So what this is going to do is that it's going to create a new experiment, okay? And this experiment is going to be linked, all right? It's going to be linked to my training experiment. Yep, there you go. As you can see, this is created for me. So let's actually zoom out a bit and see what it's created for me. All right. So look at this carefully. So it takes what? My data set and what? A web service input, runs the script, picks out the column, okay, scores the model based on the training we did, okay, and then it executes the model and passes what? A web service output for our usage, which is going to include the precision and the percentage, all right? However, there's one important step you need to conduct before you deploy, all right, your model for use. That is, you need to make predictions based on a new data. That is exactly a variable we don't have. So you need to allow people to pass the data, okay, pass the data into, how do you call it, into the AI model to do the prediction. So what we can do is that um, we're going to go and do um, select columns in data set, okay, but yeah, we're going to bring this here, okay, and enhance, okay, let's enhance the rule indicating that we want to exclude um, variable, okay. So let's go here and edit columns, and we're going to use with rules, and here we're going to say columns, and let's do this, include column names. So these are the things I want to include. So these are like the data sets that um, I want to bring. All right. So let's see this. Um, let's do all labels. No, let's do column names. Okay, and let me look for fixed. Here I need to open the file and then get the file. So let's say fixed. We'll do this fixed. This is fixed. Fixed acidity. Okay, we have fixed acidity. We have what? Volatile. We have the volatile acidity. And then we have the citric. So I've actually opened the file and I'm looking at the headings. Okay, so citric acid, and then we have the residual sugar, and then we have the chloride, and then we have the free sulfur dioxide, and then we have the total sulfur dioxide. And then we have the density, and then the pH, and then the sulfate, and then the alcohol, the agba in it. Then we have the color. Okay, so what we're saying is that now if anyone calls this web service, all right, they need to pass this, parameters, right? These are the included ones, but we don't need this. Okay, all right. Yep. Does that make sense? But we don't want the quality because this is what we are going to generate. Okay, so we save this, we save that, and what we are going to do is that we're going to connect the web service input to the score model. All right. So where is that? Where's our web service? So we have this web service input. So that goes to our score model. So we need to move this. So our web service input is going to go to our score model here. Yeah, because we are passing is that is a data set that we are going to use. We are passing into it. And then and if you want, we could remove the evaluate model as well. But I mean, we don't. That's just fine. So let's look at the select. So this are select here, and let's edit the column, and let's get rid of this. We don't need this. And then, yeah, we don't need this because I've already made the change. I was just showing you how to do that. So here, so all these things is passed in, and then this is the data set we pass to our model, and our model, creates the output for us. So awesome. Let's do this, save all that, and then, hey, let me run the model once just to be sure that, okay, I'll just do real. Let's run this. Run it on it, run it on it. Okay, once you're waiting for that to happen, um, okay, so I mean, the next thing will be to deploy, obviously. Now, here, you're just going to deploy it. You can either deploy it to an Azure Kubernetes service or you can deploy it to what? A compute, whichever works for you. And then that is how people are going to now what? Access it. So, then you can now go to your customer and say, hey, I have your model done. Okay, now this is when you're going to have them test it. All right. So finally, you have to think about the customer, how he's going to use it. Give him the output. So pretty much that's it. And if you're using the pass, don't forget that you need to clean up, else you're going to chop all your your Azure credit. So yep, the final step will be to deploy it. So once this we run this, I'll just go ahead and deploy it for us to see how we can consume it. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. So we have our pipeline. Just waiting for this to run. Yep. Run this, evaluate this, and we should be fine. Okay. Let's bring this up here. Okay, so this is run. We run this, we run that. Okay, so we're waiting for the module to be evaluated. I mean, we could take that out, but hey, let's just um, mhm. Created inference clusters. Let's just wait for that to happen. Oh, okay, we have something here. What did it say? Let's see the logs. Model exception, not label data set. There's no label column in the scored data set. Let's see. Says there's no label column. Let's go visualize this and see. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. Reception message. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's because this came in and we didn't have that, so yeah. All right, so I'll just go ahead and do the deploy. At this point, we don't we don't need that, but let me let's go back here to the training. Let's see this. We have this model. Let's check out our column set here. Edit column. Let's be sure that we have all that we want. Okay, that is there. That's fine. And then let's go back to our reference. Okay, I don't need to Can you hear me now? Please let me know if you can hear me. I think something just happened to the audio and it went off. Is the sound back now? Mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I would really appreciate that. I believe it should be back now, but without your confirmation, I can't tell. Okay. So whilst we're waiting for that to happen, once my compute is ready, is done, I cannot just go ahead and then select, you know, select that container service I just created. Awesome, sound is back. Thank you very much. I can select that container service and then deploy. Now, once that is deployed, we can test it. We can test the endpoint with some data set and ensure that we are having some, you know, some predictions going on. And then you can use this API for a mobile application. You can use the API for an IoT application where people, once they pass the correct parameters to your AI model, it generates it. Thank you very much, Reginald. I really appreciate that. So, let's see. And one of the action items I would encourage you to do is after today's session, what you need to do is that, go check out the Azure documentation. There's a lot of step-by-step examples that you can follow. So look at the step-by-step examples and try to create it. I mean, you would have fun doing it, so try to create that, walk through it. If you have any, questions or problems, hey, just holler at me and say, hey, Sam, I'm trying to do this thing, but it's, I'm hitting the wall. I can jump on a call with you or meet you up somewhere and we can work this out. All right. So let's be patient and okay. Yeah. So I let's see. Awesome. Okay. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Mm, let me refresh this so we see. Yeah, it's taking a while, but hey, it's worth the wait. We'll just deploy this. So yeah, quality you might probably be experiencing low quality because kind of like capping down on the stream rate just so you can actually watch the stream because if it goes a bit higher, it you might probably have challenges, watching that. But I would take that into consideration and actually check my settings and then I would know, subsequently we can probably have a good stream. So please bear with me on that. Okay, I'm waiting for that to happen. And again, promo codes, if you need them, let me know. You can redeem them from this side. Actually, let's see if I can just share that side out for you guys. Okay. Uh, 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 uh. This is awesome. Okay, so remind me to delete this resource when I'm done, else it's going to really consume a lot of my spend. So I'll do well to, you know, do that. Okay, let's refresh this and see how far we are doing and see how we are doing with that. If you didn't make it, this is the only part. So this is where I go brew some coffee and enjoy some coffee and enjoy some coffee whilst I wait for you know um, the cluster to be created. Yep, so people in Kumasi that have been, asking when is it coming to Kumasi, my team and I would work something out. We'll see the possibility of bringing some of these things to Kumasi. It's all about the numbers, and it's all about the participation. So if you have a community there and want us to come help you out there, just let us know and we'll come and show you some love, all right? So is it 15 minutes? Because, okay, well. Let me click this and see what's happening to it. Kubernetes service, number of nodes 3, standard D3. This is like some really high powered machine that is being, you know, created for me. For training classes, we have one already, which is one node. So the inference clusters is what we are waiting for to be created now. So it's a waiting game. So I'm taking this opportunity to respond to questions that have come on the various platforms. If you have any specifics, today has been, I think, one of my longest streams, just because of the way, uh, because it's much more detailed. So that's interesting. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Yep. 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 So, I am Dalian. We are working on building an AI ML module codeless using the Azure Machine Learning Service. So that is what we're doing today. We've spent a couple of, you know, um, probably a couple of hours. We've done an hour and, probably, yeah, 2 hours already. We built a model without code, technically. We're trying to predict the quality of wine, if it's good or bad. We are at the stage where we built our module. I think I can go to the designer and show you what we've done. So this is our training model. I'm going to open that up to show you since you're just joining us. So what we are doing, what we did was, so we had a data set here. Let me go full screen so you can see that we had our data set. I can visualize that for you to see since you're just joining, all whilst we wait for our data to be our environment in provision. So we had this data set, okay, uh, about 6,000 rows of various data point for wine, fixed acidity, volatile acidity, citric acid, and all that. We had a few rough data in here, so the quality boolean was true with some empty spaces. So what we did was we put on top some R script here. If I open this up, and all we did was just to look at the quality boolean field. If it was less than 6, we set it to 0. If it was greater than 6, we set it to 1. So that's the only thing here. But else, if the data is already prepared, you don't need anything. Then we moved on to the next stage where we actually decided to select the columns we wanted to use for this experiment. So if you check out the output, we made we took out yeah, technically, yes. So true or false to say if it's good wine or bad wine based on data sets we have. So we took out some columns we didn't need, only leaving the quality boolean. So after the Python the R script was 1. So this changed it to 1 and zeros. So after doing that, we went ahead to now split the record. We're using 80% to train the data and 20% to test the module. So we split it, and then the 80% we use that to train the model using the two-class boosted decision tree. And we scored the model, and as of now, our model is giving us, about it's giving us some good readings, about 80-90%. So evaluates the score as well. And as you can see, we have some high numbers, 70%, 80%. And then we evaluated the model. And if you check out the model evaluation, the output again, you realize that we have a good graph in terms of, accuracy. It's quite accurate for us, and we decided to, move with that. So if you look at it closely, I mean, the graph is not that bad. So we are actually hitting about 80%, accuracy. So we felt that this model was good enough for us to use. So the next step for us was to create an inference pipeline that allowed us to deploy. Okay, update the tree. So yeah, let's go to the tree here. So here, the two class. So we use the two class boosted decision tree to train the model. Okay, so we split the model. So we split the data, 80% for training. So we train the model using the two class boosted decision tree, and then we scored that model. Okay, so when you're scoring it, we use the 20% of the data we reserved for testing, and then the result from the trained model with the 80%. So that gave us a score, and then we evaluated the model to see how efficient that or accurate the model was. So 80, 85, 90% is a good, good point, starting point for us. So because we were satisfied with this, we moved to the next step where we created an inference pipeline. We're trying to deploy it as an endpoint, a real-time endpoint that people, our users could actually use. And this requires the use of the Azure Container Services. So we've just created, we're waiting for it to be provisioned, and then we can deploy our model to that container service and use it for our predictive analysis. Okay, so yeah, at this point, you're right in time. Our containers have been created successfully, even though it took a while. That has happened for us. So if I go back here, so let's go here. So let's select this. All right, we have this already. Let's go back to so let's go to designer. Let's open real time. So this is our real time. Yep. So this is what we are deploying. So just again, Delion, let me just go over this for you once more. So we publish it into a web service. So again, the data, run the script to train it. And then this is our, so this time it's using our model, our training model. All right. And if you look closely, there's a web service input. And what's the web service input? The web service input is basically, let me visualize this. It's just telling us that when we are calling this web service, we need to pass these parameters to it for it to predict if it's a good wine or a bad wine. All right. So we did that, and then we are passing it to the model, and that created the web service output for us. Okay. So all we need to do now is to actually hit deploy, right? So just deploy, and let's refresh. And as you can see, our instance is here. We select it, and then we're going to hit deploy. So it's validating. We can see the state of our deployment up here. It's registering the model. We can see the updates. Let me actually zoom in a bit. Yeah. So it's creating the real-time endpoint from the model. Update from this side. And what's going to happen is that once this is done, we can now see it here in our endpoint. So if we click on our endpoint, once this is done, we'll see the endpoint. And then when we click it, all right, we can just click on test, passing the information we want, and then we can see the output. So this can now be passed, be given to the users as an API endpoint, consumed from a mobile phone, consumed from, even consumed from the factory line. All right. So if the factory line has, sensors and all that integrated as they are creating the wine, these values could be sampled and passed to this AI model to tell it, well, is this good or bad? And right from the factory line, we can determine whether we are creating good wine or bad wine. So that's quite interesting. So, yep, waiting for real-time endpoint creation. That shouldn't take that much time. So the next thing, call to action, that I would ask you guys to do is, go check out the documentation and then try to walk through the step-by-step, examples. Really cool, easy to do. You can follow those steps, and hey, you can be creating resources in no time. But just remember that you need to get rid of, how do you call it, this environment after you're done, because that could actually cost you a lot if you don't shut it down, if it's not production. So, I mean, I don't have that much spend, so I'll keep my spend to the minimal, and I'll turn this down after today's stream. So yes, if you have any questions, so as you are waiting for the endpoint to be created for us to test it, let's see. Let's pick one. Let's go back here and let's see. I actually already have the data set, so I can just open it. I'm going to open one up. The Yep, the wine data set. I'm just going to open one. Thank you. Yes, yes. So I have news for you. On Tuesday, I just got my hands on the new Azure Sphere board. So expect that happening on Tuesday. We're going to do some real cool stuff. I'm going to connect to some relays and stuff. So make a date with me Tuesday, and then we're going to have some fun. But actually, you can connect, AI or ML to IoT, especially for anomaly detection. So if you're running a factory line, it's still 20 GMT. That would probably be, depending on which time zone you are in, East Coast or West Coast, that I can translate that. But you can use models like this in IoT as well, because an example would be, let's say you have Central. Okay, so let's see. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that calculation. I don't want to show my ignorance on time. So let's say 20 GMT to Central Time. Yeah, so that'll be like 2 p.m. Is that workable? Because I'm trying to figure out what time, sit best with, you know, across time zones. So we'll try as much as possible to make it work, and hopefully that'll be worthwhile. So what I just yeah, so this is kind of like sample. This is like the sample data that I have. So we will try to use awesome, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, 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 yeah. So so we'll try to test this with one of these to see, if our model really is working well. So let's see. Yep. So our model has been deployed. So if we now go to endpoint, we should see, yep, there you go. We should see our real-time endpoint here. So if I click on this, we should be able to test that out. Should be able to test that out. So look at this. So we have the details of it, uh, memory usage and all that. So let's go ahead and do test. So it puts some sample values here, okay? So in order to ensure that we're probably having, let's bring Excel. Let me just, okay, I'm going to move, let me just, so let's do this. I'm going to open this up a bit and put it up here. So we can see both, both the values coming up. So let's try this. So fixed acidity 7, volatile 0.27. Okay, so it's kind of like pick. Let's say we have the first info there, and this was predicting it to be false, so like bad. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this, and let's see what it tells us. All right. So this is our output, right? Look at this. Score label 0, which is what? False. So this is bad. And it's telling us that it's scoring it with a probability of about 46%. All right. So anything below that, definitely yes. So we can tell that this particular wine with these properties, is a bad wine. So let's see if we can. Let me just massage this a bit. I don't know what this means because I'm not into wine, but I'm just using the data set. So I'm just going to change a few things. Residual sugar, let's say 15. Chloride, 0.1. Sulfates, let me reduce it. Total, let me say it's just 60. Density, let me just leave it. pH, let me drop it down to like 2. And let's do 3.0. I'm not. uh, yes, exactly. You're not mistaken. So you can say that AI would read information provided by the sensors to tell it if there's something wrong. So another let me say a particular use case will be um, let's say you want to automate the production, and therefore if the pH level drops, all right, you want the whole line to shut down. Okay, so there's another thing you could use to do some predictions on it to say that so just like I'm doing now, we're saying that if we let's say if we massage these values, okay, what are we going to get? Are we going to produce a quality wine? So let's test this. Let's test my values and see. What do I have? Yep, I got a good wine. Okay, with about 70% accuracy to tell me that if I should put in these values, if I'm creating a wine, or if I'm trying to create a wine with these values, my model is telling me it would come out as a good wine. Okay, so that is it. We've created it, and if we want to consume it, all right, yeah, we're almost done. Thank you, Reginald. I'm very, 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 very appreciating of your time. So to consume this, just the final bit of it before I bow out myself. If you go to consume, you can use these keys or tokens. So this will be the endpoint here, and then you can use any of these tokens. All right, pass the tokens in, and it can generate C sharp code for you how to access this endpoint in code. All right, here as you can see, the code is all here. All right, or if you're using Python or R, it would also generate the code for you. So that is how you create an AI model codeless and consume it, all right, in your web service, in your mobile application, and then all that, all right. So this is how you do it, all thanks to the Microsoft Azure Machine Learning service. So if you found this very interesting, if you found this very intriguing, this video is always going to be available on demand for you to watch. I'll try to top it up with a step by step. If you like it and want to see more things or specific things, just let me know and I'll try to create them for you. But yes, you have to. But then, exactly, yes, you could add Raspberry Pi to it. I'm actually thinking as a Christmas project, I should have my bot. So think about this. If we created a cocktail bot using the Raspberry Pi and a bunch of, how do we call it? Peristatic pumps and all drinks. Our AI model could actually predict the component of, whatever cocktail we are creating. That would give us, a solid cocktail. So you think about use cases. It's actually interesting and exciting. So it's not midnight here in Ghana. I think it's about a couple. It's quite daytime in the other part of the world. You have been watching my show, Demystifying Technology with Sam. Today we're talking about Microsoft Azure Machine Learning, creating an AI model codeless, which was something we did for the Global AI Bootcamp. So thank you for all those who stayed till now. It's been 2-3 hours. I really appreciate of your time. I appreciate the time. So send me your feedback, send me your tweets, subscribe to the channel. Let's create some fun times together. Until then, I bow out and say thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful. Yes. So the Discord. Let's see. I think I have. I'm going to post that. So I'm going to post that on Discord as well. Uh, check check out this to see if you can find out on Discord. Let me see. That should be try finding me this way on Discord. You should find me there. So until then, I have been your humble servant, your humble community lead, Samuel Atranyi. Let's make tech work for us and to solve the challenges we have in the world. Until then,